How's everybody doing? Tinkering with Harleys. I want to thank those of you who have subscribed. I greatly appreciate it. If you're watching these videos and you haven't subscribed yet, by all means, please do. And I want to thank you all for the comments and the questions. Keep them coming. I like all of them. One of the things I wanted to bring up on my channel, because I got a lot of videos out now, and I've gotten a number of questions on different videos I've already done. So on my home channel, if you click on view channel on YouTube and you go to videos, you will find all the videos have been categorized, like everything for transmission is under transmission, everything for cam chest is under cam chest. So everything's categorized. So if you're looking for a particular video on how to do something, you can go that way instead of going through all those videos that I put out. This way it's all centrally located. So that's just something I wanted to pass on to you for those of you that have asked me the different questions on different videos on where to find them. So you don't have to go through all of them. You can go right to the category that you want. So which brings me to today's video. At some time or another, everybody winds up breaking a kickstand spring. That's one of these. And when they break, they always break. There's never an opportune moment for these break, but every one I've ever had break always breaks when I'm about 300 miles away from home. And it gets to be really interesting. I mean, you gotta lean your bike up against something, and hopefully you're with somebody that they can hold the bike up, and you either gotta wire your kickstand up or bungee it up. So it's a pain in the neck, because when you have it swinging back and forth going down the road, man, that just drives you crazy. And you get into a left-hand turn and you're like, it just kicks up and it's hitting the frame and so on and so forth. So what I'm going to do is show you how to change the spring. Now, any of you who have ever done this for the first time know it's a pain in the butt. If you look in the service manual is not a big help. It tells you put the spring on. It doesn't tell you how. And where it's located on the bike, it's really hard to get to. I mean, it's not hard to get to, but you don't have any room under there and you can't get any leverage on it. Now, I can't take credit for this method. I learned this about 50 years ago from a guy who watched me struggle and struggle and struggle to put a spring onto a kickstand. It was the very first one I did. And I'm under there with channel locks and dikes and dike cutters and everything, trying to pull that spring, trying to find some place where there's leverage. Because these springs are heavy. I was even using old brake tools from a car, and they just didn't work. There's nothing to get any leverage on. And any of you who have ever changed brake shoes on an older car or pickup truck, there's a regular tool for it, but you need leverage because the springs are heavy. And these springs, these kickstand springs, are heavier than those brake springs that are on the old shoes. So what I did was, I'm underneath the bike, I'm trying to stretch this thing out. The bike's up on a milk crate, and I'm stretching it out. And after about 10 minutes, I finally had enough where I got it hooked in. After lots of fighting, struggling, making lots of funny grunting noises and sweating. And I got that hooked up, and I just sat back and I said, man, I'm proud. My chest was stuck out. I finally got that sucker sat in there. Now I was in a garage with a bunch of my friends, and one of the guys was a little bit older. And he had a smile on his face, and he says, "Hey, Tinker," he says, "you want to know the easy way how to do that?" And I kind of looked at him like, "There's an easier way to do it than what I just did?" And he's like, "Yeah, take that spring off of there again." And I'm like, "You got to be kidding me. After fighting with this thing for 10 minutes, I don't want to take it back off." He said, "Trust me, take it off." So I did. And, you know, I was really skeptical, but I trusted the guy. So I will show you what he showed me. And like I said, I cannot take credit. This was all from him. His name was Bird. And this is back when I lived back east. And I want to give credit where credit's due. Yeah, because he's the guy who showed me. And I'll show you how to do this, so we'll get right to it. Okay, so what you do with this spring, and you can see how heavy this is. This is a really, really heavy spring. Now what we're going to do is we're going to take about 8 or 10 pennies, and you can see how much distance that gives you. And we're going to stretch this spring out. So you go to your vise and you put the spring in the vise. Like that. And let's make sure you got a good angle on this. And what you do, you take a bar and you put it in there and you anchor it down here so that you can lean on it and use your weight. And as you use your weight to stretch it out, you start slipping pennies in there. Now I'm not going to show putting all 10 pennies in there, but that's how you do it. And what this does is it'll give you enough room. It extends that spring. That's about a ½ inch worth of pennies, but as you put it into all these different, in between the springs, and stretch them out, it gives you more length that you're going to be able to hook this up on the bike without straining. I mean, it's going to go right on without a problem. Now, after you've stretched it out with your lever in your vise, you got 10 pennies in there. So now is where all this pays off. This is where the easy part comes in. So now you've got your spring and you've got 10 pennies in it. And like I said before, now comes the easy part. Your bike's already up on a jack. You take and you swing your kickstand to the up position. And you may have to hold it there with a bungee. And then you just take and you hook this into it. You put enough length in this now where it will hook right into your frame and to the kickstand. And once you have it hooked in, to get these pennies out, all you have to do is put your kickstand down, let the jack down, and as the weight comes down on the bike, this will stretch the spring out and it will drop all those pennies out. There might be 1 or 2 left in. You just take a needle nose plier and pull them out. And that's the easy part of it. It takes about, I don't know, 30 seconds to do, to install it, put that spring on there. I mean, it beats trying to stretch it yourself. And it's the easiest way I've found to do it. And there's a couple of different ways to hook these springs up, but this is definitely the easiest way I've found, is by putting the pennies in there. So I hope this helps somebody. Hopefully you never have to use this technique because it's a pain in the neck when your kickstand breaks. And I hope you enjoyed the video, and thank you all for watching, and until next time, everybody be safe out there.